Episode 1 of Human Vapor begins at the JNT network where a package delivery arrives. Chief reporter Kyoko Kono is late for a live interview, and before she heads in, she calms herself down. The interview is with a biomass power generation expert, Emeritus Kyuko Sano. He talks about using city waste to generate power, when suddenly tendrils of smoke show up, snake around the room, and rush into his body, and eventually he explodes. We then cut to a restaurant. The owner is rude to his staff, and he happens to be an immigrant as well. A customer, Kenji Okamoto, stands up for the staff and beats up the owner. It turns out Kenji is a cop on suspension for the last 3 months. However, the chief brings him back for the smoke murder. Now, Kenji knows Kyoko and the chief disapproves of her, and during the questioning it's tense but rather familiar. We also learn that Kyoko got promoted while Kenji got suspended due to an incident. Now the JNT staff find the package delivery, and Kyoko, who's quite the risk taker, investigates and finds a QR code. Now this code shows a video of the murderer. He shares that he met Sano 27 years ago, and he'll hold a press conference at Bunko Ramen to explain everything and his next move. He sent the video to every network, and soon it's plastered everywhere. The cops have no leads. The cause of Sano's death was the lungs exploding, and there are chemical burns on them too. Now after the debrief, Kenji meets with a superintendent general who happens to be a family friend. He worries that Kenji is all alone and tries to set him up with women. We also learn that Kenji's dad was a good cop, but not particularly good as a dad or a husband. Now before he leaves, the Superintendent General claims he lifted his suspension because this is Kenji's chance to prove that he's moved on from the Kyoko incident. We then cut to a flashback to 5 years ago, where Kyoko wants to do a feature on the Tokyo police and Chief puts her with Kenji. We don't see much else other than that because we cut back to the present, where Kenji texts Kyoko warning her of possible chemical terrorism and warning her against going to the press conference. The old texts between them show that he wanted answers from her, but she ghosted him. And on the day of the press conference, a huge crowd gathers despite warnings of the chemical terrorism. While Kenji is scanning the place, he sees Kyoko. Now flashback then shows them at a stakeout, and since she has insomnia, he teaches her how to calm down. They bond over a love song, and he's glad when she finally falls asleep. Back in the present, the murderer never shows. Bored, the crowd thins out, and the restaurant owner makes a scene that he's losing money. Kyoko finds out that Bunko Ramen originally was at a different location, so she texts Kenji and reaches that old location first. As expected, she finds the murderer and starts to interview him. It turns out he's a victim who wants revenge, and he mentions something called the White Center, which is a group of powerful people who control society and are responsible for all kinds of crimes. He knows they'll never apologise, and so plans to kill them all. He signs off as the Human Vapor. And when the cops show up, he turns into smoke and attacks. Bullets do nothing to him, and soon he disappears. Now an old man watches Kyoko's interview with the Human Vapor and looks scared, bringing the first episode to an end. So episode 1 of Human Vapor gets off to a pretty intriguing start for this Netflix J-drama, and if you've seen the trailer then you'll know that this looks like an exciting thriller that's dipping its toes into familiar territory when it comes to mashing up supernatural elements with a familiar thriller format. It has all the trappings of your typical Japanese crime thrillers with gory action, a gloomy and bluish colour palette, the slightly on the nose background scores representing the tone of the scenes, and this mashup between a maverick cop and the reporter who takes risks, blending together in a pretty compelling manner. And what stands out is the novelty of the antagonist, who very clearly from the start is introduced as a misguided villain. He's only the bad guy because he's a murderer, but his motives separate him from the usual psychopaths, as he is also a victim in some ways and has set out on getting revenge on those who have wronged him. Now even if he hadn't shared his backstory in detail, the visual effects surrounding his power adds to his motives. When he turns into smoke, his flesh literally burns, hinting at how much pain he must have gone through to get to this stage. With the scene set and all of our major players introduced and added to the game board, it'll be interesting to see what direction this goes and how the mystery of the White Center will be revealed. Roll on the next episode. Thanks for watching, and do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like or subscribe to the channel, your support is very much appreciated. I'm Greg Wheeler, and from all of us over here at The Review Geek, we'll see you on the next video.